So what if the most important job of the next decade doesn't even exist yet? We're going to explore this really fascinating idea that argues for exactly that. A brand new role called the Futurist-in-Residence, designed to help all of us navigate a world that is, well, changing faster than ever.
The entire premise is built on this one simple but really profound idea. The world isn't just changing a little bit, it's completely rearranging itself. The argument is that the ground we've built our careers and companies on is literally shifting beneath our feet, and we need a whole new way to keep our balance.
Okay, so what makes them so sure about this massive rearrangement? Well, the analysis points to a few really clear signals, tremors in our economy and society that it says we just can't afford to ignore anymore.
Just think about this for a second. A Forbes survey found that a staggering 40% of companies don't believe they will survive the next 10 years. I mean, that's not just some worrying statistic. That is a massive vote of no confidence in the way things are, and it's coming from inside the house.
And then you have the human side of it. This analysis points to a huge generational shift. We're talking about a third of the world's population, Gen Z, who aren't just asking for change. They're actively questioning the very foundations of traditional careers, of education, of corporate structures, the whole shebang.
And this one probably hits close to home for a lot of us. The Economist points out that the whole idea of a stable 20-year career path is just fading away fast. Instead, we're all moving into this new reality of 2 to 5 year cycles where you have to constantly reinvent yourself. It's not just a nice to have anymore, it's a necessity. And to round out this picture of, let's be honest, chaos, the material points to a few other things. AI that's accelerating way faster than our ability to create rules for it, our core infrastructure being unstable, and just this widespread feeling of burnout and confusion that seems to be affecting everybody. Okay, so after painting this pretty intense picture of disruption, the analysis doesn't just leave us hanging. It actually proposes a solution. A new kind of expert it calls the Futurist-in-Residence. So what in the world is that?
And here is the key difference. This isn't some outside consultant who just shows up and makes a bunch of wild predictions. No, a futurist in residence is embedded inside an organization. Their job is to sense what's coming and then translate all that complexity into a clear, actionable path forward.
And they make this super clear. This is not some optional fancy title for an executive. It's a mindset, a necessary strategy for pretty much everyone, individuals and teams, to stay relevant. It's about survival, and then it's about growth.
Okay, that sounds great. But how do you actually do that? How do you become this futurist person? Well, the material actually lays out a surprisingly clear path. It's a 6-part framework it calls the master sequence.
And this sequence is incredibly cool because it pulls from all these different fields. It starts with your inner game, the emergent mindset, learning to trust your gut. Then it moves to designing like nature, using biology to build better strategies. It gets into systems innovation so you can tackle complex problems, and it even brings in indigenous knowledge for its long-term wisdom. Then, of course, it tackles the big tech shifts with AI and wraps it all up with local resilience so you can apply this stuff in your own community. It's a really holistic approach.
Now, to help pull all of these different ideas together, a special AI tool is part of the package. It's a custom GPT they call the Emergence Intelligence System, and it's basically designed to be your smart partner as you learn all this stuff.
The whole idea here is for this thing to be your all-in-one guide. It's supposed to be your personal coach, your strategy engine, your pattern spotter. Basically, it's a tool to get personalized advice on demand and turn these big, abstract ideas into something you can actually use.
Of course, this isn't just about learning cool new things. It's got to have a real payoff, right? So the presentation gets right into the return on investment for both companies and for individuals. What do you actually get out of this?
So the benefits are broken down for 2 different groups. For companies, it's all about smarter strategy, navigating risk, and sparking innovation. But for you as an individual, it's much more personal. It's about building your own resilience, becoming more adaptable, and getting real clarity on your own career path.
And they get really specific with some of the claims. For instance, it suggests that just by putting some smarter AI workflows into place, you could get back 10 to 20 hours of your time every single month.
And here's another big one that hits your wallet directly. The idea is that developing these kinds of foresight skills could boost your career earnings by 20 to 40% over the long haul. That's pretty significant.
And if you zoom out to the whole organization, the numbers they lay out are pretty eye-popping. We're talking about making way fewer mistakes on big decisions, cutting the damage from risks by more than half in some cases,
and building teams that just flat out perform better. These are the kinds of concrete results this whole approach is supposed to deliver.
So, after all the data, all the frameworks, all the promised returns, what's the big takeaway? What does this all boil down to? Well, the material distills it into one single core idea about your value in the future.
And this right here is the heart of the whole argument. As AI and automation take over all the predictable, routine stuff, the most valuable human skill left is navigating the unpredictable. Being able to sense and shape what's coming next isn't just a bonus skill, it's what makes you indispensable.
So, at the end of the day, this isn't about adding another bullet point to your LinkedIn profile. It's about a fundamental shift in how we think about our own value. In a world where answers are cheap, the most important work is guiding people through the unknown.
And so, the material leaves us all with this one final thought to chew on. In a world that is rearranging itself right in front of our eyes, what does it actually mean to be ready?